Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the third episode of the Sporting Updates podcast. I'm your host, Sam Fonseca, at Sam Fonseca on Twitter, and today I'm joined by my good friend, as always, Steph. How you doing, Steph?
I'm doing pretty good after today's game. We won 3-2. Should have been 9-0, but I'll take the 3-2.
Yeah, a win is a win. And also we are joined by a special guest known as Bruno. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's at BrunoSKO23. How are you doing today, Bruno?
I'm doing good, guys. Could be doing better. Honestly, thought we could have won 6 or 7, and once again, we're giving up leads we shouldn't be.
Story of Sporting's life, I
Yep.
guess. Don't on Twitter as well, at Steph Tech Shader. Was it 01 or just one?
Just one.
Just one. And also don't forget to follow at SCP Updates EN on Twitter as well. Before we get into the podcast, just a quick update on the iTunes. So basically, SoundCloud, and SoundCloud should just be uploading it to iTunes from there. But there was a little error in one of the episodes. So I'm going to have to take down episode 2 and re-upload it. So it won't go for long. It'll literally be like a couple of seconds. So it'll be posted to iTunes. And thank you all for being patient, and thank you for the support anyway. Just a quick little update there. And now we are going to introduce a new into the show, which I'll leave down to Steph to take away. So Steph, go ahead.
So the new segment we have in place, it's called Let's Get to Know Our Fans. Without our fans, our podcast wouldn't exist. So we appreciate all of our followers, all of our Sportingistas, and we do have followers from other clubs as well, and thank you for that. Today our special guest is Bruno. He lives in Maryland, close by me. I'm in Delaware, so I didn't even know that he lives so close to me. So I'm going to let Bruno introduce himself and tell us about himself a little bit. Go ahead, Bruno.
Okay, my name is Bruno, as you guys know. 25 years old. Back in school, I'm actually trying to major in physical education. I did 5 years in the military with the Army National Guard, got out. And I've been watching soccer pretty much since the year 2004. Love sports. Football was actually my first love, but then soccer quickly took over.
Okay, so how long, since when have you been a Sportingista?
Ooh, well, here's the funny story. My family is all Benfica for the most part. So when I was little, my parents would get me, the Benfica jerseys, but I would never watch the games, to be honest. Soccer just wasn't big for me. And then little by little, I started watching Sparting, but it was kind of like an undercover thing. So my parents wouldn't watch me because I knew they'd give me crap for it. So finally, I just kind of came out and was like Sparting. And I remember one year, once I finally did come out as a Sportingista, I'd come from Leiria in Portugal, and me and my uncle went to the city near there called Pombal, and they had a charity game, and I actually got to meet Sapinto, the player from Sparting, and I actually ended up getting his autograph that day, and it was probably one of the happiest days of my life.
That's all.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you ever watch any games at Estádio José Alvalade?
Yes, the last time I went to Portugal, actually, I believe it was 2014. I could be wrong, maybe 2013, but it was against Lazio. It was for the Jogo de Três Violas, the apresentação.
Cinco
Violins.
Yeah.
And we ended up tying 2-2, went to PKs and won 4-2. So it was. Go ahead.
Which game was that? Which team?
Lazio.
Familiarly. Gotcha. I remember that game. Yeah.
Yep, and the atmosphere was insane. Never experienced anything like that in my lifetime. Need to go back again this summer.
Okay, great. Maybe we'll coordinate it, and then we'll go all together, and then we'll watch a game all together. Never know.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
So I'm going to put you on the hot seat now, okay?
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
So this is the second segment of our podcast. We call it the hot seat. Last week was Sam. Now today too. So
all right, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so it's 5 questions, quick answers. So question number 1: who's your favorite player at the present time?
Oh, that's an easy one. Mr. Sir William Carvalho.
Good answer. I like him too. Your favorite player of all times of Sporting, of course.
I'm gonna have to go with Lietzen.
Okay.
Ooh, good shout.
Yeah, good choice. Question number 3: most memorable game.
This is a toughie. It's between two, but I'm gonna have to go with the Supertaça win over Benfica when Jorge Jesus first took over.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a 1-0.
Yep.
Question number 4: the worst game you ever seen from Sporting, and if you could do a do-over,
Oh man,
you
this
would do
one.
it.
This one was also that same season, the second leg against Benfica. I believe we were at home, and all we needed was a tie. We ended up losing that game, which then obviously cost us the league title. And if I could do it over, that would be the game I'd pick.
That's a game where we lost 1-0 and we played better than them. I
Yep.
remember. Yep.
Yep.
Brian Ruiz missed an open goal.
Yeah, oh,
Yep.
yes.
Brian Ruiz. It still kills me to this day.
Not only
Yeah.
you, most Sportingistas still remember that. That's why they don't mind him leaving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, so your biggest wish in regards Sporting near future.
Obviously it's the league title, but other than the league title, I'm gonna say I want us to do better in Europe. I want Sporting to get obviously the Champions League is gonna be tough this year, but I want us to get to at least a Europa League final within the next 5 years. I want us to start being dominant in Europe more.
That's a reasonable goal. I like that. Okay, that's it. So well, you off the hot seat. So now we give it back to Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
All right.
Listening to that made me realise how bad my answers were. So next time I'll become more prepared. So thank you for that, Bruno.
No problem.
Now we're on to the Twitter questions, which you guys have sent in. We've got a few today, so I'll be asking Bruno and Steph, and I'm also... The first one comes from Ruben Oliveira, and he asks, will Sporting struggle to win the league due to a lack of winning experience? Bruno, I'll give that one to you first.
Honestly, I don't think so, because we've been in this position before. That 1 year where we literally were leg in leg with Benfica. The experience is there. We have experienced players. I think this is going to be our year. I mean, we have the most in-depth squad, defense to attack. So I look for us to win the league this year.
Good answer. Go on, Steph.
Okay, so the team we have, it's basically composed of a mix of youth and with players with lots of experience. That we have players that won the Champions League, such as Jeremy Mathieu and Fabio Coentrão. So we do have the experience now. I think it's well balanced. The scouting department did an outstanding job. JJ, Bruno Carvalho, they did a really good job in picking the proper players for each position. So this year is the year we should win and we must win. So I feel confident that this year is the year.
For me, I'd have to say I don't think we have a lack of winning experience. We've got Coentrão and Mathieu, like you said, who are, I think, combined 3 times Champions League winners. They both won the league with Real Madrid and Barcelona respectively as well. I'm not sure about this one, but I'm pretty sure Bastos has also won the Bundesliga at a point as well with Wolfsburg. But I could be wrong about that. And then we got people, no, it's not actually like domestic football, but you got Patricio and obviously William, who have won the Euros of Portugal. So I don't think we have that much of a lack of winning experience in terms of trophies. I think it's a good fit, like you said, a mixture of experience and youngsters to help those younger players develop as well. So for me, I think we won't struggle to win the league because of that reason, but it's still a long way to go from here to even be thinking about the league title, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next question from Empire7. He asked, what do you guys think about Podence's lack of game time? And for this one, I'll send it over to Steph first.
What's the name of the player?
Podence.
Podence. Well, Podence, it's easy to forget, but he broke his hand. So he was out on an injury. That's why he was not even called within the 16, the squad list 16 on the Liga NOS. So finally, he's at 100%. So now he's acquiring rhythm of the game again. So I think he'll be given the chance again. I believe that from the get-go, everything happened so fast for him. A player that came from Moreirense, and all of a sudden, bang, he's going to start for a big Sporting, and he was kind of overwhelmed. And then the injury happened, so it was a combination of both. Uh, but yes, I believe that I don't believe I know that Jorge Jesus will give him another chance again to play, and we should see him playing very soon. So go ahead, Bruno.
Yeah, like you said, he was injured with the broken hand, and even before that, when he was playing, I mean, the kid was electrifying. I mean, he is a very, very talented young kid, obviously coming from our academy. I look for big things from him, and especially with Alan Ruiz kind of not putting in the performances he should be. I know he's coming back from injury as well, but I definitely see Pudence getting a little bit more playing time over him in the near future.
I agree with both of you, but also to add the fact that Bruno Fernandes has been in such great form that you can't just really drop Bruno Fernandes for Podence straight away. And like you said as well, Bruno, you still got Alan Rees who needs game time. So I think George Jesus will be like a mixture of the rotation between the three. Not so much Bruno Fernandes at the moment, obviously, because he's in such good form, but maybe in some games he could drop Bruno Fernandes back and maybe rotate Battaglia and bring someone else forward. So I think it's only a matter of time before Podence actually breaks out and becomes a mainstay in the squad. But as long as Bruno Fernandes is in such great form, probably not going to be too soon. Next question from @BMPDB_1906, and he asks, who will win Revelation of the season? Go on, Bruno. I'll leave that one to you.
Revelation of the season, as in the player that's gonna shock everybody, or
yep.
I'm gonna go with Doumbia, because when he first came in, when we first purchased him, I was like, why? What are we doing? Why are we wasting money on this player that I honestly didn't think we needed? But he has been proving me wrong so far this year. Every time he starts, he's been scoring for us. So I look for him to keep it up, and I think he's definitely going to have a great season with us.
Steph, go.
Without a doubt, so far it's been Bruno Fernandes, not Bruno from today, but Bruno Fernandes. I mean, with Sampdoria, I think he scored 5 goals last year. He already scored 5 goals with us. I mean, this was game number 8, and he's not even a striker. He's kind of a mix of midfielder, striker, but his favorite position is number 8. But he's doing quite well next to Bas Dost. Without a doubt, the revelation will be Bruno Fernandes. But you know me, Sam. I like Jeremy Mathieu, but it will be Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. But just to be fun, I'm going to switch up. I'm not going to agree with any of you. I'm going to go for a bit of a dark horse, and I'm going to go with Rodrigo Battaglia. For me, in the last few games, he's been absolutely solid. I don't think he's put a foot wrong so far. And quite like Bruno did with Doumbia, when we bought him in, I was like, this guy isn't sporting quality. He did well for Chaves last season, but Chaves aren't sporting. But he has come in and he has proven me wrong so far. He's been a boss in the midfield. I think a partnership with Carvalho is going to suit him very well. And like I said, I do agree with both your points, but just for fun, I'm going to pick a different answer and go with Battaglia.
That's a good choice, buddy.
Yeah, he had another solid game today too.
I'm full of good choices, Steph. You should know this by now.
Woohoo!
Last question from @Sam O'Hanran SCP. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Also known as Irish Sportingista on Twitter. He asked, out of all our players on loan, who do you think / hope will do the best and come back next year ready to play with the first team? Steph, go ahead.
That's an easy one. Well, not really, but he's standing out quite a lot, which is Francisco Geraldo in the Rio Ave. He's playing really well. So I just hope he keeps up with the pace at Rio Ave, and by next year, you will have a spot in the A squad at Sporting.
Good on, Bruno.
I'm glad you didn't take my answer. I am going with Ryan Gauld, who is playing right now in Deportivo de Chaves.
Yep.
He scored yesterday. I mean, he was promising last year, I believe, when he was on loan at Setúbal, and then that whole thing happened, and we had to bring him back. So I look for him to have a good year, and hopefully next year he can get a crack at the starting 11 or even come off the bench and get some playing time. But I'm pulling for that kid.
Again, I agree with both of you, but I'm still going to go with another off-field answer. I'm going to go with Domingos Duarte. Just because centre backs is a position Sporting have lacked like solid ones up until now for a very long time. And I feel like he can be the next big Portuguese centre back. And I think maybe he should have stayed in instead of maybe Tobias and sent Tobias out on loan, because I'm not that big of a fan. But with Domingos getting playing time, I feel like he can actually develop and become a solid centre back. So hopefully he does, and that's my answer, Domingos Duarte. Okay, so all the questions out of the way for today. Thank you for sending them in. If you want to be featured on the next episode, make sure you send questions in when we ask you to. Or if you just want to send questions randomly, use the hashtag SCP Updates. Now on to today's game against Olympiacos, which finished 3-2, in which Bruno Fernandes, Gelson Martins and Seydou Doumbia scored. The lineup as followed: Rui Patricio in goal, El Patron Sebastian Coates and Jeremy Mateu in the defence, alongside Cristiano Pacini and Jonathan Silva. Then we've got William Carvalho, Rodrigo Pataglia, Bruno Fernandes, Marcos Acuna, Gelson Martins and Seydou Doumbia, also having Bruno Cesar coming in for Gelson, Seydou Doumbia for Dos for Seydou Doumbia even, and Ristowski for Bruno Fernandes. So guys, I'll go with Steph. What did you think of the game?
Well, the first half was Sporting. We dominated. We took over the game. We did what we were supposed to. It looked like Jorge Jesus and the whole team were listening to us on Twitter, because if you went to Twitter, every single Sportingista was saying, just go strong, finish them off, go after the first goal, second goal, third goal, and that's what we did basically. We didn't let them breathe. We dominated the game. At the end of the first half, it could have been 6-0 easily, and I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, I can go play by play. I have all the players by the minute, and minutes. So we scored a really quick recap. Doumbia scored at the second minute. Okay, then Gelson Martins the 13th minute. Then we sent a ball to the post, minute 16. Then we had. Gelson Martins again to the post, minute 40. And then finally, minute 43, we scored 3-0. So first half, Sporting dominated. We didn't give them a chance. The second half, which everyone was expecting it, to Sporting continuing the game and drop back a little because they had such a comfortable lead. But then we lost a little bit of focus, and we noticed that towards the end of the game. Also, we had substitutes, which we could see right away that it's a different team when we start substituting. But that wasn't necessary. Those two goals by Prado, which he played at Braga, which he knows Sporting quite well, it wasn't necessary. We could have gone back to Lisbon with the 3-0, and we finished with the 3-2. I'm not complaining. It's still a good result. But it could have been 3-0, could have been 6-0, even 9-0, because we had enough chance to score. But that's the thing I hate about our Sporting. It's they take the foot off the accelerator, and then we suffer unnecessary goals. Let's make believe this is Barcelona, and we're winning 3-0. I mean, playing like that, we're gonna lose. They have top-notch players. We have to remain focused, and even the commentators on TV were saying, wow, this is a totally different Sporting in the second half. They lost the focus. We were making silly mistakes, and we suffered in a way that I was not expecting, because up to minute 80, we're doing excellent, and then the last 10 minutes, it's like we gave up, and that pissed me off a little bit, because I was like, oh, my God, Here comes the tie again. It looked like deja vu from the game with Feirense, when we almost draw the game, and we won in a penalty kick in the final seconds of the game. So We won. I'm happy with that. It's a Champions League game. $1.5 million in our bank account. That's excellent too. We on top of the group together with Barcelona. They won 3-0 against Juventus. So we tied in first place. They have a better goal average. That's why they're in first place. So now when we play against Barcelona the next game at home, we can not make those mistakes. If we make those mistakes, might as well just pack our bags and go to Liga Europa. So that's all I got to say. Go ahead, Bruno.
Oh man, where to begin? First half was absolutely great. Like you said, it could have easily been 6, 7, 8-0. I thought one particular play that I wish it didn't hit the post was Bruno Fernandes' fire rocket. I think he had a nice cutback and then just shot it first time. And I knew it was coming to, and it hit the post, and pretty upset about that. So first half, everything looked great, 3-0. Now coming into the second half, I wanted to see, are we going to take our foot off the gas pedal? Are we going to sit back? Because believe it or not, I think maintaining a 3-0 lead is sometimes one of the hardest, because sometimes the coach doesn't know, should we sit back or do we keep pushing up? But I think in this case, we should have kept attacking because we clearly outclassed Olympiacos up and down the field the first half. So I was expecting to see more in the second half. And then Jonathan Silva, I mean, his performance today in the second half was not so great. I think he was the reason for the 2 goals against us. But just another Spartan game, guys. Another 3-2. Hopefully, the next game we can actually maintain the lead and not give it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with both your points there. I feel like we dominated the first half. It looked like we didn't give them a chance to even breathe the way especially on the counter-attack as well for the second goal. It was just fantastic. It's just like when you think of counter-attacking football, you just think of plays like that. And I feel Dumbia as well with the goal and assist. He played fantastically in the first half. Everyone looked like they didn't miss a beat. Maybe with the exception of players like Pacini, who's still a bit injured, but I thought he didn't look as great as he does sometimes. And like you said, the second half was a different story. I felt like we did take our foot off the gas, and like Steph said, if that's Barcelona, we're about to get about to get out of the game just like that, because Barcelona are deadly. Think about it: they got Messi, they got Suarez, they got Ousmane Dembele. That's not the same as Olympiacos striker, who I don't even know, to be honest with you. So obviously we need to step it up in future games, especially against with the teams we have like Juventus and Barcelona. But that being said, today should have been at least 7. You didn't say 7-0, 8-0. The amount of chances that we had that were either from Dumbia hit at the keeper or Jelson hit the keeper, or we hit the bar 3 times in the game, which was just incredibly unlucky. So I feel like offensively we were absolutely fantastic up until maybe the 60th, 65th minute, and then we started to sit back a bit for some reason, which I don't really understand, because in the Champions League, goal difference means a hell of a lot. It can be like the deciding factor of either finishing second or third, or even third or fourth, or even, not to get ahead of myself, but first or second. So it's just that we needed to keep a clean sheet today, and unfortunately we didn't do it. Like you said, thanks to Jonathan Silva, had a poor game. But we're about to get into the player ratings in a minute, but I'll just say there was one player who I thought was outstanding the whole game, but I'll get into it in a minute. But like I said, Dembia was great until he came off, which I don't know, should he have came off? Did he look tired? Yes, but with a goal and assist, I feel like he could have done more than Bastos did when he came in. Bastos did look a bit clumsy and out of it when he came in. So that's all I've got to say, really, is that we need to keep our foot on the gas, make sure we don't concede sloppy goals like we did. I think we need to be more defensively tight for set pieces as well. I think that's where we lack a bit as well. So overall, great first half, poor second half, but 3 points is 3 points, so I'll take it. So on to the player ratings. If you guys haven't heard this before, we basically go through the lineup and I'll ask Bruno and Steph a rating out of 10. And after that, I'll ask for their man of the match. Actually, if I mention the player, you say he was your man of the match. Let's not wait. So if I say the player, you say, oh, he's my man of the match. Or if I mention a player, he goes, oh, he was the worst performer. So straight away, we got Rui Patricio. Bruno, rating out of 10.
I am going to give Rui Patricio a 7. And the reason I'm giving him a 7 is because on a couple of the kicks, man, he was off. And on one of them, he
I agree.
actually ended up passing it to one of the other players, and it could have easily gone in. But luckily, Watts was there and actually blocked off the goal. I don't even know if it was going in, but it looked like he had blocked it off. So for me, Rui Patricio a 7.
Steph.
Okay, yeah, Rui Patrice, I'm going to give him a 6 today. In the second half, like Bruno just said, he lost his focus with a couple plays, which I was not expecting from him, with someone with so much experience, especially in a Champions League game. You cannot make those mistakes because, like you said before, against a team with Messi and Luis Suarez, you're going to pay the price. You will pay the price. And then Juventus as well. They have some amazing strikers. So you have to stay focused the whole game. Even if you're winning 4 or 5-0, it doesn't matter. Stay focused. And that's why I'm giving him a 6, because he's the champion of Europe for Portugal. He's our captain. He's our symbol. I love Rui Patricio. I'm always gonna love him, but he's got to stay focused the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm going to give him a 7 instead of a 6, just because I felt like the goals wasn't really his fault. I feel like there was nothing much he could do to stop them from going in. But like you said, he did lose concentration. He passed the ball straight to the Olympiacos striker, like Bruno said. Coates was there, and even Mateo, I think, got a little bit of a touch on the ball. So it was a good recovery. But Patricio needs to focus more, especially in a Champions League game. Maybe in a game like Steph said, if we played like a Liga NOS team, wouldn't be as bad. But this is Champions League. If he does that against Barcelona, Juventus, that's a guaranteed goal from Dybala or Messi. So he needs to just make sure that he needs to place the ball where he wants it to. So for me, giving Patricio a 7. Now on to Piccini. Steph, what are you going to give Piccini out of 10?
Well, Piccini, he's been hurt, so I'll give him a 6 as well. I mean, everyone played well in the first half, but there's 90 minutes in the game, and then the second half. Let's put it this way: Piccini in the first half was a solid 8-9, and he dropped to 6 because you just can't give up so soon into the game when you still have 45 minutes left. So that's why I'm giving him a 6. He was a little bit out of rhythm because he was injured. He was more cautious, but he was still solid, but he lost his focus in the second half, like the whole team did. So a 6 to him.
Bruno.
I'm gonna have to agree with Steph. I'm gonna give him a 6. Overall, decent first half from what I saw, but the second half there were times where he was kind of caught out of position, and I know this has always been a problem with him as well. He goes up front to attack, doesn't come back to defend, and I saw that at times again today. So for me, a 6.
Yeah, I'm agree with both you and go with a 6 as well. I feel like maybe Ristovski should have started this game if Cristiano Piccini wasn't fully fit. So, yeah, like you said, he does tend to lose his concentration as well when he's going on attack and he loses the ball. He sort of walks back when he really needs to be back on the defensive end to help. So, yeah, I'm going to give Piccini a 6 even. Now, onto my man of the match, which might be controversial, but for me, man of the match, Sebastian Coates. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10, just because he was fantastic on every single play, didn't put a foot wrong, stopped it from maybe being a much worse scoreline. Some of the goals he kept out, and he got a fantastic assist on the Bruno Fernandes goal. And even, I remember a couple of plays him running up the pitch with Doumbia, with the same pace as Doumbia, which is amazing. So Coates, for me, man of the match, 10 out of 10. Bruno, what's your thoughts on Coates?
I am actually going to have to agree with you. He was definitely by far my man of the match as well, not only defensively but offensively. I think it was in the first half where he was charging down, and I believe he had Doumbia on his right where he could have passed to, but I knew he was going to try to take it on. He has such a long stride, and I was hoping for him to beat the keeper, but unfortunately he didn't. But again, defensively, he was solid. He saved, after that Patricio mess up, he was there to clean up at the back. So for me, he was also my man of the match, 10 out of 10.
Steph.
Okay, I'm going to give him a 9. I did like his performance. He's back after he played the two games with his national team with Uruguay. You could see today he had fresh legs. He was anticipating. He was much more focused. Uh, and I'll give him a 9 because my man of the match is somebody else. So, but yeah, definitely he is el patrón. In Portuguese, we say patrão. But yeah, so that's it.
Okay. Jeremy Mateu. I'll give this one to Steph because I know he loves a bit of Jeremy Mateu.
There's a reason why I like Jeremy Mathieu. In case you guys don't know, and even our followers and Portuguese, I was actually born in France and then lived in France until I was 9 and then moved to Portugal and lived in Portugal until I was 16. And then I came to the US and now, hey, I'm 45 and I feel old. And then I have 2 kids and a wife. And anyway, but Jeremy Mathieu today, he also played very consistent. He did make a couple of mistakes, but nothing major. But him and Coates, when they both in full strength, in fit, we just lucky as Portuguese to have 2 amazing center backs. So I'm going to give him an 8 because Coates was indeed better than him. But that's it.
Bruno, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an 8. Fantastic all around, and it's funny because when we first signed him, I was like, again, oh my God, why are we bringing this guy in? He's old. Barcelona let him go. If Barcelona don't want him, like, why are we picking him up and paying him this amount of money? But again, he's been playing and he's been shutting me up, and I'm happy to see it. And just his communication, with the other defenders on the pitch, I think is huge for us. His experience that he brings to the table is huge, and I think he's going to be a very important piece in the back, along with Guats. Call him the Twin Towers, and I thought it was a fantastic performance by him tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you. 8 out of 10. I feel even though we did concede 2, which many would blame on the 2 centre backs, like not watching the game, but you would always assume that if a team conceded, it's centre back's fault. But for Sebastian Coates and Jeremy Mateu, it was none of the sort. They were the ones keeping our team in the game defensively. I feel like the fullbacks let them down. Jeremy Mateu was good. He was always placed his passes, like Steph said, maybe made a couple of mistakes, but nothing that affected the game. So for me, Jeremy Mateu, 8 out of 10. Jonathan Silva, Bruno, I'll let you take this one. Rating out of 10.
Oh man, I'm gonna be nice. A 4, maybe a 5. I mean, I just the second half, man. I mean, he just completely fell apart. I don't know what happened to him. Both goals, his fault. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we might actually need to start playing Bruno Cesar at left back when Coentrão is not able to go. Because Jonathan Silva thus far this season hasn't had those solid performances that, are like, yeah, you know what, this guy when Coentrão's out, he can step up and he can do it. And I was hoping today would be that game, but again, he let me down. So for me, a 4.
Steph, Jonathan Silva.
Okay, so Jonathan Silva, I'm not going to be so harsh like Bruno. I do like Johnny. He's a young player with a lot of potential from Argentina. And first half, impeccable. He played real well. I was like, wow, I'm impressed. Jorge Jesus is developing this player. And then, like Bruno said, the second half, I guess he was feeding off the whole team. His production, his performance dropped tremendously. And then I was giving him an 8 at the halftime, and then he dropped to a 5 because he made too many mistakes, which allowed Olympiacos to score those 2 goals. And a 5 for Jonathan Silva.
I am going to be harsh like Bruno, I'm afraid. I'm going to give him a 3.
Oh,
wow.
Just because I want to get lower than Bruno. So I'm going for a 3. Even in the first half, I didn't think he played very well. I think he misplaced the ball a lot of times. When he went offensively, he lost the ball as well. And like those 2 goals were solely his fault, and there was other times that I remember one where he headed it backwards to the former Benfica player Carcela, and luckily he didn't score. But if he did, that would have been 3 goals that Jonathan Silva gave to Olympiacos. And like Bruno said, I really dislike Bruno Cesar, but I'd much rather have him playing left back than Jonathan Silva playing left back, and that's saying something.
Are you both you're both kidding me, aren't you?
No, I'm
I'm
being
not,
deadly.
man.
So you know I don't like Bruno Cesar.
Bruno Cesar for Jonathan Silva.
From what I've seen thus far this season, he just hasn't convinced me. And it's not like, I want him to do bad. I'm cheering for the guy. I am literally cheering for the guy, but he just can't. He hasn't had a solid performance, I don't believe, all 90 minutes thus far this season.
I agree. And like Steph, to be fair, when Jonathan Silva has been called upon, he hasn't been the best of players. And I feel like Bruno Cesar could do that job better than Jonathan Silva does. I feel like Bruno Cesar is more experienced, which in this case would be a good thing. He can pass the ball pretty well. He can attack fairly decently as well. So if Fabio Conchal does get injured, I will still expect to see Jonathan Silva replacing him. But I think sometimes, especially today, I said it, I think it was about the 60th minute, that Jonathan Silva needs to be brought off. And he kept doing for the whole game, which was obviously a massive mistake. So, again, a 3 for Jonathan Silva. William Carvalho, I'll start this one off. I'll give him an 8. I feel like he did play pretty well. He passed the ball where it needed to be passed. He didn't lose the ball that many amount of times. His dribbling was good as well. I've seen better from him, but that was by no means a bad thing. But William Carvalho, 8 out of 10. Steph, go ahead.
For me, he's the man of the match. He makes all the difference in the midfield. He's the brain of Sporting playing the midfield. He's the maestro. He moves. He's the connection between the defense and then the attack. And today he had a really solid game. Even when in the second half the team was out of focus, he remained focused. This is why a lot of teams wanted to buy him, because he's an awesome, excellent player. And I give him a 10 because he deserves it. He played much better than the last game against Feirense. So the man of the match for me, Sir William Carvalho.
Fair enough. Go on, Bruno.
I'm going to have to give him a 9. He was actually my second best player on the pitch today behind Coates. He is the anchor of our midfield. I mean, when he's in the lineup, we are just so solid. I mean, just the command that he has on the field for starting the attacks, picking out the pass, and his defending. And what's funny is he doesn't have a lot of pace on him, man, but he's just such an intelligent player that he doesn't need it. So for me, he gets a 9, another solid performance by Sir William.
So he got an 8, 9, 10 from all of us. So he must have been playing pretty well. I'd agree with both of you. I do feel like he could have been second man of the match. But for me, I would also say someone different. But I'll get onto that in a minute. Rodrigo Battaglia. Bruno, I'll get this one to you. Rating out of 10.
I'm going to give Battaglia an 8, man. I thought he was absolutely solid today. There were a couple, clumsy challenges that, he shouldn't have given away. But I'm telling you, if this man keeps putting in these performances, it's only a matter of time before Argentina call him up for the national squad. And I think, in fact, they could use him because he is a great, great midfielder. And I hope he does. I hope he does get called up to the Argentina national squad because I think he deserves it.
Steph, go ahead.
As well, like Bruno, solid 8. Battaglia is showing why Sporting went to Braga and paid what they paid. He's an excellent player, up and coming. Like Bruno said, I have no doubts he'll be called to the national team anytime soon. Now he's getting exposure in the Champions League. And guess what? He's playing against Barcelona, which has Messi from Argentina as well. So hands down to him. He's a pleasant surprise, a very good acquisition from Sporting. So an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 as well because I do feel like he had the same impact as William did. Like I said, placing the right passes, dribbling, great, getting back on the defence. I feel like I said the question earlier, he will be a revelation for us. I feel we got rid of him for Ezekiel and Jefferson on loan, and was it 3 million as well? And on paper, that you say that's a lot of money, but as of right now, I'd say that's been worth every penny so far. The connection he has with William Carvalho is just fantastic. I feel if they keep this up, they could easily be the best holding midfielder duo in the league. Next, we go on to the wonder kid, Bruno Fernandes. And as his name is Bruno, I'll give this one to Bruno. Go on.
I'm going to give him an 8, man. I really, really wish that shot that he had in the first half where he just had an amazing cutback, didn't even think twice, shot it, and it unfortunately ended up hitting post. But just the touches he had today, man. I mean, these one-touch passes where it would just like catch your eye. The things that kid can do with the ball is amazing, and especially for the price that we got him in today's market. I mean, imagine what he would go for now. Ain't no way he's going for, what was it, 8.5 that we paid for him. I mean, there's absolutely no way he would go for that much in today's market. Another solid performance by Bruno. He scored the goal too. I know it wasn't as amazing as his other goals that he's had this season thus far, but solid performance all around.
Steph, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to give him a 9 because I think people kind of forget he's only a midfielder, and he already scored 5 goals. So that's amazing. They adopted him to play next to Bas Dost as a second striker. He's complying. He's performing real well in that position. And don't forget, he's only, what is he, 21, 22?
22, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so he has a lot of room for progression. This kid, he's getting called by the national team, which he deserves it. I know BG was the first option, and then he got hurt. But I foresee him to be in the A squad for the national team from now on. And I'm expecting lots of good things from him. He can handle the pressure. He actually welcomes the pressure. He wants it to be in the big stages. And again, I've said it again and again, and I'll say it again. I don't know what Sampdoria was thinking when they sold him to us. But thank you, Sampdoria Italianos. Adios. Grazie.
I'm going to have to give him an 8. I feel like he did play well. There was this one shot where I was thinking, I'm not sure if you guys remember it, but it was literally, I think it was on the volley. He tried to obviously place it in top corner, but it nearly went out for a throw-in. So maybe he can work on his decision-making a bit more. If there's options there, don't always go for the fancy finish. But that being said, he was good offensively. The goal, it did take a bit of a deflection off the goalkeeper, but the run he made was fantastic as well. He was also a great anchor to players like Dumbia and Acuna and Gelson. So I feel like he was quite, I would say, a bit underrated in this game because he did score, but he wasn't as the flashy guy we've seen in the Liga NOS. So yeah, I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes an 8. Now on to Marcos Acuna. Steph, Marcos Acuna.
Okay, Marcos Acuna, I'm going to give him a 7 because I'm expecting more from him. But he did play very solid. He in the left wing, he minimized the embarrassment caused by Jonathan Silva, especially in the second half. Like I said, I do like Johnny, but I don't know what happened in the second half, if he forgot to take some Gatorade because his self-esteem, his focus was completely gone, and Acuna minimized that. So a solid 7 to Acuna. I'm still expecting more from him, but I think he was more preoccupied to save Jonathan Silva's butt. So he couldn't focus in the attacking mode. But so a 7 to him.
Go ahead, Bruno.
I am going to give Acuna a 9, and here's the reason.
Nice.
It was that flying start. I mean, that was essential for us to get that first goal. And was it a minute and a half into the game? He draws the foul. He takes the free kick, perfectly placed. I mean, it was going to fall. I forget. I don't know if it was Squat. I believe it was Squats. It was either Quats or Doumbia. They were both there. It was the perfect cross. I mean, the man's got a nasty left foot. I expect big things from him. And not only that, I also saw him dropping back on defense on occasion to help Jonathan Silva because he was a liability, unfortunately, on the left back position. So for me, Acuna, another overall performance for me. I give him a 9.
Oh, I have to agree with Steph on this one. I'll give Acuna a 7, and I get your reasoning for giving him a 9, Bruno. But with all due respect, he did it in the first minute, and then he didn't have much of that same impact after the game. He did still play well. Don't get me wrong, but I think we could have expected more from him in a game like this. But like Steph said as well, it's not his fault. He did have to cover Jonathan Silva. So a 7 from me, but it's not a bad 7. It was a good 7. Gelson Martins, I'll kick this one off. It's a bit controversial, but I'm also going to give him a 7 just because I feel sometimes when he goes on offense, he does too much. He tries to do too much of the ball. He tries to take on a defender when he's got Mbia next to him, or he'll have Acuna next to him, or Bruno Fernandes, but he'll just try to get around the defender and he always ends up losing the ball. He did miss that shot. He did score, but he also missed that shot where he hit the bar. And to be honest, I know it's like I hate using the term, but I think probably I would have scored that. He just put too much power on it. Literally, all he needed to do was a calm tap, and it would have gone in. So I want to see better games from Gelson. Hopefully, this game will like spur him on to play well, like he has done in other games. So for me, I'm going to give Gelson a 7. Steph, what are you going to give Gelson?
I'm going to give Gelson an 8. He did play. It was kind of a weird combination. First half impeccable, second half, and I think it has a lot to do. We didn't talk about this yet, but we playing Tondela home Saturday, so in a few days, and I think the coaching staff, in the halftime, must have told the players, contain yourself. We do have a game coming up in Liga NOS at home at 8:30 at night. So, and if that was the message, it kind of sends mixed messages to players, like, oh, okay, so we can relax a little bit, which it shouldn't be the case. We should go after the 4th and 5th goal and 6th goal. And Justin Martins, his performance in the second half dropped as well. And I'm going to blame the coaching staff on this one. They have to be careful what they say at halftime to the players, what kind of message they're sending them. But he still scored a goal. Like, I agree with you. That was too much power in that second, in that could have been a goal, and an easy tap would have been a goal for sure. But he decided to kick it so hard. I don't know why. But I'm expecting more from Justin Martinez, and I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. They need to stay focused for 90 minutes. So an 8 to him.
Bruno.
Yes, Sam, I'm going to have to agree with you. For me, it was a 7. And again, like you were saying, he tries to do too much at times. Sometimes you just simply need to pass. There's no need to take on that second, that third defender. When you have the easy pass, you got to take it. And the thing with Gelson is, amongst the sporting support, we all know he's a great player. And if you're going to be labeled as a great player, you got to take your chances. He should have finished that. I know the ball did bounce, but still, if you want to be considered one of the great players on our squad, you got to finish that. And I'm expecting to see a better game from him this weekend against Tondela at home.
That's fair. On to the final player of the starting 11, Seydou Doumbia. Seydou Doumbia, rating out of 10.
Doumbia, I'm going to give him an 8. He scored the first goal. He's basically built for these kind of games, and Jorge Jesus knows it, and that's what I think. That's the one thing I like about Jorge Jesus. He knows his players quite well. So the way he set up the team today was a 4-3-2-1, and that's the perfect game for Doumbia. And he flourished. He played well in the first half, and again the second half, like every other player, exception for William Carvalho and Coates. They remained focused. He also, dropped production, and then he was substituted. But I'm expecting great things from him because he's so fast. And in games that we can create open space, we got to put him on the game. So an 8 to Doumbia.
Bruno, Doumbia.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. An 8. The player that has the most, by far the most, shocked me other than Bruno Fernandes this season. The first goal was great. Not only that, again, his pace is insane. But the thing also, when you have pace, sometimes his dribbling he can dribble a little bit out too far, which then obviously makes the defender get the ball. And I also think he also should have finished that second opportunity that he got when Gelson had it took like a weird flick. It was almost like a rebound, and it was right there for him to just tap it in a little bit higher than what he shot it. I would have given him a 9 had that been the case, but for me an 8. For me,
Doumbia was my second man of the match. I'll give him a 9. I feel like he played very well. Like I said, got a goal and an assist. And this being said, when I went to watch Sporting versus Steyr live at the Alvalade, straight after that game, I said Doumbia was awful, and I felt like he couldn't improve. And it was actually Steph who said to me that you'll be eating your words when he becomes good. And look what's happened. I'm doing exactly that. I did judge him too quickly, and for that, I apologise to the man. In the last couple of games, he's been playing very well. I think he is like, when you think of striker, you think of Doumbia with his like pace. He's got a bit of strength to him too. A fantastic shot, and he has been, like I said, he shocked me, and like Bruno said, shocked him. Just like Bruno Fernandes has. So, yeah, for me, Doumbia could give a 9. And now we'll quickly run substitutes. I don't really want a full description. I just want a quick rating and then literally just, let's say, a reason why. So I'll start with Bas Dost, and I feel I'm going to give him a 6. Actually, I'm going to give him a 5 because I feel like he didn't really do much. He was invisible. And, yeah, it's a 5 for Bas Dost. Bruno, Bas Dost, thoughts?
I'm going to go with a 6. He did looked sluggish at times, and he should have finished those two opportunities that he had.
Steph.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. Yeah, I do remember those two plays towards the end. It was like within 1 minute, and yeah, he should have scored. But he came onto the pitch in the worst time when the team was playing the worst football possible. So I don't really blame him. But for the few minutes he was on the pitch, a 5.
That's fair enough. Bruno Cesar, and again, his name is Bruno. Bruno, you start this one off.
Honestly, I didn't see when he came on in the second half. I'll probably give him a 5. I would say a 5. Didn't see too much from him.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, same thing. A 5. He came in for Gelson Martins, I believe, and yeah. So a 5. I mean, he did have some more energy. Well, I mean, he was a sub. I'm expecting that, but yeah, a 5. I mean, he didn't have time to do anything much anyway. George Jesus only gave him a few minutes, so a 5.
Yeah, I'm going to say a 5 as well, but I feel like if George Jesus brought him on for Jonathan Silva, we would be saying maybe a 6 or a 7 just on the defensive plays. So, yeah, that's a 5 from me. And then finally, we've got Stefan Ristovski even. Steph, go ahead.
Wow, yeah, he's got my name, Steph. Hey. So, yeah, I mean, I can't even grade him because he only played a few minutes. So I guess I'll give him a 5. Didn't see much of him. Was it like 7 minutes maybe? So
if that,
if that. So I'll just give him a 5 because I gave the other 2 subs a 5. But I'm expecting more from Stefan. I've seen some feedback. Someone on YouTube put a video of him of all the games he played on his old team, and he seems to be an amazing player. So for today, a 5, even though he didn't show much because he didn't have much time to show. But I'm expecting him because Piccini is not going to last all 60 games of the whole season. So I'm very, very curious to see him play a full 90 minutes.
Bruno, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I give him a 5. He just simply didn't have enough time to give a much better rating, to be honest. But I am excited to see him play because, like you guys said, all the feedback I'm getting on Twitter from this guy is he's a solid player. So excited to see him going further in the season.
Yeah, I'm just going to give him a 5 as well because, like you said, not much time to judge him. I want him to start against Tondela because Piccini looks tired, and tiredness leads to goals, especially in the defensive side. So hopefully we get to see Ristovski play, and hopefully he not surprise us because we're always expecting big things, but hopefully he can prove us right.
Yep.
Okay, so Steph, we're now on to your favourite part of the show, the sporting universe roundup. So Steph, what have you got for us?
Okay, so you keep on saying it's my favorite part of the show. It's not. By now, it should be yours too. Okay, so on the 9th of September, which was Saturday, our U17 played away against Lotus, and we lost 1-0. It's not a big deal because it's a long season, so they'll make it up. Our ladies, they played against CA Mazel. We won 4-0. Goals were scored by Fatima Pinto at the 26th minute, Anna Borges 36th minute, Diana Silva 42nd minute, and Solange Carvalhas at the 72nd minute. Top performance by our U.S. player, Caroline Baldwin. She plays the same position as Willem Carvalho, number 6, so kudos to her. You guys know I love her, so... In handball, we played a game away against Chico handball. The final score was 40 for Sporting, 22 for Chico handball. Another great performance, win first place. In futsal, Sporting crushed Leões Porto Salvo 8-1. Goals by João Matos, our captain. Fortino, Italian international, scored 3 goals. Joe, 1 goal. Dieguinho, 1 goal. Cavinato, another Italian, Brazilian Italian, 1 goal. And Merlin, our magician, another goal. And then from Porto Salves, it was Sheriff. What a name. Then the 10th of September, our U15 Iniciados Sporting, they crushed Torriense 5-0. Then we had Sporting B losing at home against Gil Vicente 1-0.
I watched the game, actually, just saying.
Yeah. But keep in mind, there's a lot of youth from last year, from the under-19 juniors, and it takes time to rebuild the team. So that's why they're struggling a little. The U19 juniors on today's game against Olympiacos, they tied 2-2, which is a really good score because Olympiacos, they were winning 2-0. In the first half, Kastanazios, it's a Greek name, so forgive me, they scored at minute 18, Len Lemprou at minute 20. Then in the second half, we managed to tie the game, Miguel Luis, minute 47, and Els Balde at minute 76. But, there's a but, at the end of the first half, a goal in our favor was cancelled by the referee, Mr. Alan Saint. The ball clearly passed the goalie line, but he didn't validate the goal. And that's all I have.
So we even get screwed in the other leagues as well. So that's
yeah. What else is new?
I know, we're getting used to it. That's
seriously though.
That's pretty sad, you know.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Thank you, Bruno, for coming on, and Steph, as always. If you want to follow them on Twitter, Steph is at StephTechShadow1, and Bruno is at Bruno KO. Let me do that again. Bruno SKO23. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's at Sam Fonseca with 2 A's, and make sure you follow the Sporting Updates account, which is at SEP Updates EN. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been a very good show. I enjoyed it.
Hold on. Well done. We missed the predictions for next game.
Ooh, yes.
Of course. I'm glad to have Steph here. He's always on the ball.
Okay, so you want to go first, Sam? So we play at home against Tondela. What's your prediction?
I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. I'm feeling it. I feel like we can boss Tondela about and not give them a chance to breathe. Like I said, if we have the first half like we did today, it's all good.
Okay, and who will score the goals?
Oh, I'm gonna go. I feel like Dumbia will start just because in the form he's in. So I'll go with Dumbia with 1, Bruno Fernandes with 1, and Coates with 1.
Okay, good enough. Okay, Bruno, your turn.
I'm going to go, because of the short week and the traveling, I'm going to go with 2-0. But here's the best part. We don't let them back in the game. So I think it's going to be a good 2-0 performance. And I think the goals will come from, I'm going to say Gelson, and I'm going to say Battaglia.
Okay.
Go on, Steph.
Okay, so I'm going to say 4-0 just because we're playing at home in a full stadium, and the players, they have a point to prove to our fans, which are very demanding, especially the Portuguese from Lisboa, os Lisboetas. So, so they're going to prove to them that, hey, we know how to play. Today we're going to put on a show for you guys. So 4-0, 2 goals of Bas Dost, 1 goal of Bruno Fernandes, and 1 goal of Acuna.
Fair enough. So I believe that's all you got, right?
That's
And
it.
hold on, I just want to say something before we do get out, because I do have a few friends who are listening right now, and it's funny because they actually don't watch the Liga Portuguesa, but I encourage them to. So those special people are Dario, Martin, Andres, and my beautiful girlfriend too, Michelle. I know you guys are watching. Please subscribe. I'm trying to help these guys get this thing big, this podcast big. So with your guys' help, I think we can all do that. And thank you guys again for having me a part of the show. Appreciate it.
No worries, man. You were fantastic. And
Yeah,
thank you for
Bruno.
all of your friends for watching. And yes, watch Liga NOS, but most importantly,
Yes.
watch Sporting. So
Absolutely. I have a friend who actually has a Sporting jersey. My friend Dario, I finally got him to. I got him, and he actually ordered a Sporting jersey last year, so he's on the good side finally.
good. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good choice. So don't forget, support Sporting, but it's not only football. There's also the ladies, handball, volleyball, all the other sports. Okay, guys?
All right, guys.
All right. So thank you again, Bruno and Steph, for coming on. I've been your host, Sam Fonseca. Thank you all for joining us, and see you next time.
Viva Sporting!
Sempre go Sport!